Zia Yusuf has resigned as the chairman of the Reform Party, saying he no longer believed that working to get a Reform government elected was a good use of his time.
Oh my goodness, excuse me. A sneeze just came out of nowhere. Anyway, earlier this week, newly elected Reform MP Sarah Pochin called on the Prime Minister to ban the burqa in her very first PMQ's question.
Will he, in the interests of public safety, follow the lead of France, Denmark, Belgium and others and ban the burqa?
Well, Zia suggested that it was a dumb question to ask. He posted that onto Twitter. But after he posted that tweet, a matter of hours after, he declared himself out as party chairman.
OK, well, joining us now is GBNews political correspondent Catherine Forster. Catherine, Nigel Farage, understandably, is trying to play down any kind of sort of overall turmoil, saying that Zia Yusuf perhaps wasn't used to the difference between business and politics. He's received a lot of trolling online and the like. What do you think this is all about? And do you think it's going to be problematic long-term for Reform, or is it just a sort of obstacle that they need to overcome?
Well, time will tell, but I certainly think it is a big blow for Reform and for Nigel Farage and Richard Tice. We heard how they spoke about Zia Yusuf yesterday. Richard Tice said we wouldn't have got where we are without him. Nigel Farage said similar. He did play a big part in professionalising the party and bringing them the success that they got at the local elections. But to be honest, everything I've heard means that it hinged his decision to go on Sarah Pochin's question the other day about banning the burqas. Goodness, how fast things change, because 5 weeks ago today, I was standing in Runcorn interviewing them both. Let's just have a look at what Zia Yusuf had to say just 5 weeks ago.
Firstly, the congratulations are due to Sarah Pochin, our amazing new Reform MP, and I spent a lot of time with her on this campaign. She's going to be a formidable politician and someone that we're going to be really inspired to work with. Our mission is to get Nigel Farage elected to be the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, flanked by 350 to 400 Reform MPs. There will be no pacts, no mergers with the Tories. We're going to head to government. We've got a lot of work to do, but I just want to reiterate, we're so deeply grateful and thankful to the people who watched this programme, who support Reform and voted for us.
So we've gone from Zia Yusuf saying that he wants to help propel Nigel Farage into number 10 to yesterday saying that trying to help Reform get into government was not a good use of his time. And from him praising the new MP, Sarah Pochin, to the skies and saying how closely they'd work together, to leaving, it seems, because of the comment that she made. Now, worth saying, there have been difficulties internally. Of course there have. This is not something out of character within Reform. We saw it before with Rupert Lowe, didn't we? But, it is clear from everything that I've been told that her comment was what tipped him over the edge. I've been told by somebody senior within the Reform operation this morning that it wasn't the case that he was sort of being sidelined or frozen out or given less responsibility. Sure, he had taken over the Doge stuff in Kent. There are 5 of them, 2 of them already gone, him and one other. But it was Sarah Pochin's comment. The following day, he was sort of AWOL. And then, of course, we had the resignation last night.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private internet access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private internet access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Well, Catherine Forster, thank you very much indeed for bringing us the very latest on this row. Shall we speak now to the former Deputy Chair of UKIP, Suzanne Evans, because a lot of opponents of the Reform Party and those within the party have been saying that Nigel Farage is a difficult person to work with, to say the least. What do you reckon, Suzanne? You have experience.
Well, I think he's a very, very easy person to work with until he becomes a difficult person to work with, I think is the answer to that, really. I think this is very, very interesting. On the face of it, this could seem just like another falling out with Nigel Farage, but that's not what this is. There is clearly far, far more to this. Nigel Farage at the moment seems to be going out of his way to say how much he valued Zia Yusuf and how disappointed he is that he's quit the party, saying that, he probably couldn't cope with the cut and thrust of politics. And let's be honest, all of us who've ever worked in politics know that it is a bit of a blood sport, and that very often it's the knives you have to watch out from your own party stabbing you in the back that are the problem as well as those of the opposition. At least they stab you in the front, as the saying goes. But here we have a situation where Nigel's going out of his way to praise Zia Yusuf. But what he did was appalling, really, certainly unwise. To call Sarah Pochin's question dumb, it's just plain wrong. Arguably, because she's blonde, you could say it was misogynist as well. And it really was political suicide. So I can see why he's saying that this really was the final straw and that he had to go because it was a dumb thing to do. And if he had any kind of concept of the history of the Reform Party and the Brexit Party before that and UKIP before that, he would have known that in 2017, it was UKIP party policy to ban the burqa. The then leader, Paul Nuttall, felt very strongly about this, and so that was written into the 2017 election manifesto. He should also have known that it's something that does evoke strong feelings among Reform Party members, who, incidentally, I think on the whole are quite pleased he's gone. Notwithstanding what Catherine said quite rightly earlier about Farage, Richard Tice, the former leader, etc., being very disappointed about his departure. The fact is, you look at X, formerly Twitter, and you'll see that a lot of Reform members are very, very happy he's gone. They hold him responsible for drumming Rupert Lowe MP out of the party because he was the one who reported Rupert Lowe to the police for things that turned out to be completely unsubstantiated. And I think Rupert Lowe is now taking legal action against the party. Perhaps he also had something to do with the Ben Habib case as well. Who knows when Ben Habib, I think, was expecting to become deputy leader of Reform, but when Richard Tice became an MP, he not unsurprisingly became deputy leader to Farage. So there are a lot of people in Reform who didn't like Zia Yusuf from the off. Let me be perfectly blunt. They didn't like the fact he was a Muslim. And then later they came to resent the fact that he seemed to be watering down some of the party's lines on immigration. So although
Suzanne, just because we're running out of time, I'm just interested to know how it was with you and Nigel, because it's quite a few years, isn't it, between there was a bit of a fallout with you back in the UKIP days. Remind us how that came about. Were you badly treated in your mind?
Yes, I think I was. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think I'd always done my very best for the party and had worked very hard for the party. And maybe Zia Yusuf feels exactly the same way. I think he certainly put in the hours. But yes, I think there were a cabal of people who were determined to get rid of me. And and whispered poison in Nigel Farage's ear. And so it came to be. And I think it's a great shame because, I think I did work very hard. And I'm sure many other people who've worked with Nigel and his Incarnation Party since would say the same. It needs to get a grip. Nigel Farage is within smelling distance of becoming Prime Minister of this country, but he needs to lead a cabinet of 100 people, 100 ministers, if he's going to assume that role. So this kind of constant infighting has got to stop. The party's got to be more cohesive. It's got to work hard to be more cohesive. You can't allow these petty squabbles to break out. This is serious now, and things have got to change. It's got to be different.
Absolutely fascinating. Suzanne Evans, thanks indeed for joining us and sharing your experience there too.
OK.